Bangladesh's former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has been formally charged with crimes against humanity for her alleged role in the deadly crackdown on student-led protests during July 2024, the uprising that took place at that time. The chief prosecutor presenting the case before the special tribunal has said that Hasina had quote-unquote directly ordered operations by security forces, ruling party workers and allied groups that led to mass killings. In fact, he's also said that these killings were not spontaneous, they were planned and coordinated. My colleague Saurabh will join us shortly for more details. But what the prosecutor also said is that he cited video footage and encrypted communications that were retrieved during the investigation, saying that Sheikh Hasina was the one who must be held responsible solely for the actions and for the incidents that took place during the July 2024 uprising and the crackdown on student protesters as well. Remember, Sheikh Hasina again has now been charged with crimes against humanity. This is against an international court tribunal. Now, the chief prosecutor has cited encrypted details, videos, as well as communication between Hasina, security workers, party workers as well, and several top officials, where the prosecution is saying that Hasina had directly ordered security forces to crack down on students that led to mass killings of these students. Now, another statement that's being made against Hasina, or charges against her, is that the killings were being portrayed as spontaneous due to propaganda by the government, but instead these killings were planned and coordinated by a huge network, is what is being claimed at the moment. Now, remember, Sheikh Hasina has been ousted, but at the moment she is being charged with crimes against humanity, and especially for her role in ordering mass killings during the nationwide uprising that took place last year. And of course, the charges, as per the chief prosecutor, is that the violent crackdown was a coordinated attempt at targeting the protesters. My colleague Saurabh joins us with more details. Saurabh, now big charges against Sheikh Hasina being put out. These charges are crimes against humanity, especially during the student uprising that took place last year, saying that the mass killings were planned and coordinated.
Well, these have been charges that have been repeatedly brought against Sheikh Hasina, but what has happened today is that the trial has begun and the formal proceeding, or the formal bringing of charges against an accused, has happened in a Bangladesh court. What's also interesting to note is that these proceedings are being telecast live on several platforms, and this is of course to do with the trial that the Bangladesh sort of establishment has lodged against Sheikh Hasina. Now, what are these charges? Well, last year in August there was an uprising, and during this uprising the police on multiple occasions had to open fire to control violent mobs. Now, obviously at that point, in these incidents there were deaths that were reported, and what many are saying is that these were targeted or orchestrated by the Sheikh Hasina government, and that's why of course these charges have been brought against her. Now, Sheikh Hasina's son Sajib Wazed, in a post, has said the uprising from the beginning was something that was a conspiracy. In fact, yes, in that post that he made a couple of days ago, he also mentioned that there might be the involvement of the Lashkar-e-Taiba, a Pakistan-based terrorist group, of course sharing a video clip from a Lashkar operative, a Lashkar terrorist, who also mentioned the Bangladesh uprising in his speech. So obviously this is something that is in Bangladesh. The establishment of course says that these are legal proceedings that Sheikh Hasina has to face. Sheikh Hasina's side, especially her son, has also been saying that these are basically this is part of the conspiracy to overthrow her government, and then of course to ensure that before the elections are taking place in Bangladesh, there's an attempt to sort of move her out of the electoral process to ensure that her party cannot compete, and her party has already been banned. Now, of course, she faces these charges, and others of her government are also expected to face charges.